It is October 12th, 2018.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 71. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Todd, I want you to know something. I want to reiterate something that I said to you yesterday as we were chilling on Skype. There is no longer Seth. There is only Golf Seth.
It's funny as I actually forgot that, like, after you said that shit yesterday, you're like, that's going to be on the podcast.
It has to be, because it's so appropriate, because I have morphed into this, like, just over the past week, I've morphed into this embodiment of golf and golf vibes. I am Golf Seth.
I won't lie, like, you've definitely, like, you've almost sold me on that game.
Oh, maybe talking to you today will sell you. But let's not jump too far ahead. I have a little bit of housekeeping to do, Todd. Todd, you want to break out the whiteboard here, and we'll just wheel that in, and we'll start talking about the content schedule for Nerd Bourbon coming up.
Let's do it.
Let's walk the kids through, all the kids in our classroom here. So the one you're listening to right now, we have so it's going to be weird for our content schedule coming up because obviously I'm getting married very soon. I will be obviously preoccupied between the wedding and my honeymoon. Todd will be down here for my wedding. So we are going to record some stuff while Todd's down here. It's just not going to be possible for us to edit and post stuff, while I'm also getting married and having a honeymoon out of state. So we've got some evergreen episodes in the pipe for you, so that you're not going to miss a week of Nerd Bourbon. I'm just going to kind of go through some of the stuff we've got planned. So next week you're going to get episode 72, which is going to be based on music, and it's basically just Todd and I for like a little over an hour just bullshitting about music.
Easily could have went longer.
Oh, it could have went way longer, but we just basically, it's so funny because like we just talked about like everything under the sun. It's like not even what I really thought it was going to be. I don't know, like it just was this meandering fly on the wall conversation of like everything from different bands that we like to different albums and songs that we like to music-based games and things that influenced our musical tastes and our opinions on certain things, and it's an experience. It's an experience, so that you can look forward to that next week. The episode that you're going to get, episode 73, is going to be a new round of our I guess quarterly show, Nerd Bourbon Video Game Vomit. It's Todd's turn this time to provide us with the title, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's also the first time without the generator that we've been using.
Yeah, the generator that we were using is like either not around anymore or like I lost the link to it or something. I don't know, but I can't find it for the life of me. So we are actually using a new website to generate these titles. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this new what this new harvest has brought for us.
I will say something as a little bit of a spoiler. Not really a spoiler for like the actual show, but like when I was like sitting there getting the titles, there was a lot of shit about the Middle East.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like something in the Middle East. I was like, why? It's like the 15th, 20th one I've seen.
SpongeBob in the Middle East. That's funny. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Well, so that's going to be episode 73. So the episodes that we're going to be recording for the wedding, episode 74 is going to be sort of my... so we're actually going to be kind of recording an episode for like my bachelor party, such as it is. I'm not really having a bachelor party, but what I am doing is Dan, close friend of ours, and Todd we're going to be doing a whiskey tasting at my apartment the night before the wedding, where I'm just going to have like my little collection of 5 or 6 whiskeys, and we're basically just going to taste them and review them and record ourselves doing it. So that's going to be what episode 74 is, for better or for worse. Episode 75, I'm actually going to record with my fiance or wife at the time of the episode. I'm going to be recording that with her, and it's basically just going to be us talking about the experience of the wedding and what it was like for us to put the wedding together for ourselves and stuff like that, and just like what happened on the day, and just kind of like go over the details. I don't know if we've decided if Todd is going to be there for that one or not. I almost feel like we were talking about this. I feel like the episode will be more intimate if it's just Anastasia and I. Like, I feel like it would be a little more honest if it was just us. But then, you're going to have a perspective on the wedding too. So maybe we'll touch on that with the following episode. We'll get kind of your take on the wedding. And
yeah, that'd be a way to do it. Like, get my perspective on the next episode.
Yeah, and the next episode is going to be where we kind of get back into the normal swing of things. That's when we'll talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, which will have been out for like 3 weeks at that time. So I do apologize that you're going to get some of these impressions a little bit late. But obviously, episode 76 will be a big sort of Red Dead Redemption 2 episode. The following episode, we'll talk about Fallout 76. The following episode is when we'll talk about like Battlefield 5 and Darksiders 3, and we'll start really kind of like digging deep into some of these big fall titles. And then, by the time that's all said and done, we'll be getting into the Christmas season, and we'll have, we'll have like Smash Brothers to talk about, and we'll have our, we have a Christmas gift exchange that Todd and I are going to be doing this year, and of course our Game of the Year discussions. So that's pretty much what's going on for the rest of the year with Nerd Bourbon. So I just wanted to get that out there and let you guys know what's going on and just be totally transparent with everybody. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Todd?
Now, it's if I ever decide to sit there and do a playthrough of Alien Isolation.
That'd be cool. But at this point, it's like the time frame's getting tight.
In the time frame, I might. Originally, I was planning on doing it for like October, like we did the Hollow stream the first year.
Yeah.
And it was just like it's just like the way I've been working and the way it's just not working out. So like I still want to do it, but it might be like not in October type shit.
Yeah. Now, Todd, here's a disturbing fact that I learned about you recently.
I could say vice versa, the same thing.
It's a horrifying thing. I recently learned, we were talking about, so the H3H3 podcast, which you and I are both fans of, have been on this sort of like crusade of butt wiping. And I was talking to you completely, I guess, blissfully unaware that you would be one of these back wipers.
Well, and again, I could turn the tables on you, you fucking front wiper.
It's weird. Isn't it a weird thing? And I've been thinking about it. So, like, I asked Todd, I was like, yeah, have you been seeing this H3H3 thing where they ask, like, all their guests about how they wipe their ass? I'm like, how, what, are you a front wiper? He's like, no, I'm a back wiper. I'm like, wait, what? You wipe, like, front to back? That's so weird. I can't even imagine doing it. You know what I mean?
See, that's the thing. I can't imagine doing it the way you're doing, like lifting the nuts up. Like I can't even like feasibly do that. I'm like, what? No.
It does require finesse, but I'm so natural at it now. It just feels so natural to me. Like I've tried to do the front to back wipe, and I actually just tried it recently because I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I don't think there's a wrong way to wipe your ass.
I was thinking about this.
Other than one thing.
What's that?
The standing up is wrong.
That is wrong. That's
wrong.
You're a heathen if you do that.
Like I'll concede that the front to front, the back to front to back, whatever. But if you stand up, what are you doing? You can't properly wipe your ass. The cheeks close at that point.
Yeah, I feel like the cheek gate has just closed too tight. You can't. Your defenses are too walled up at that point. You can't get through there. And then there's another like subset of people who don't put their toilet paper like in the bowl and flush it. They put it in the trash can. That's just gross.
Now, usually where that comes from is usually it's from like people that have like come from like other countries.
Well, and people with like bad plumbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, bad plumbing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when I say other countries, I'm usually implying the bad plumbing that they have. And
every time you refer to other countries.
Yeah. I lived with somebody that did it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was my buddy Ronald's fiance.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, let's just say me and Ronald put a stop to that shit real quick.
Yeah, that's gross. I don't know. That's just gross.
I was like, I walked into the bathroom. I looked into the trash can. I was like, who the fuck?
People do it at work all the time. Like when I go to the bathroom at work, we have like a public restroom at work, and like there's all the time just toilet paper in the used toilet paper in the.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I absolutely hate it.
I can't deal. It just and I was thinking about this. What influences the way you wipe your ass? You know what I mean? Like how
that's an interesting topic and an interesting
I have
question.
I have a theory. My theory is that the way that feels natural to you is maybe the way that your mom wiped your ass when you were a baby. That makes sense to me.
But here's the thing. I think most people, like most parents, will do it from back to front.
No, not true.
Really?
Not true. I've seen many people wipe babies' asses many different ways.
I feel like I'm gonna have to ask my mother how she wiped my ass.
Maybe maybe we'll have to do that, and we'll have to come back and report back someday.
I have to come back and give some information on that. That's interesting. Like it's funny is like I never think about like how I wipe my ass. It's just because it's like natural to me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I feel like, and it really is just like a feeling more so than it is technique. It's just what feels right to you. Because like when H3, like when Ethan was saying like it just like I feel like the scoop is like cleaner, I totally agreed. And like you were telling me like, well, I feel like my way is cleaner. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's because like I'm not trying to get shit on my nuts.
Like, it's so fun. I've heard that argument before, and that's just not how that works. You've got the taint is a buffer zone, Todd. It's a total buffer zone.
It shouldn't have to be a buffer zone.
That's what the taint is for. It's really, think of it like it's an open world game, and the taint is just like it's like a zone. It's like an arid wasteland. On the other side, on one side of it,
let me tell you something. It's a very, very thin.
Oh, it's
very,
not.
Very thin
It's larger than you think. This when you got your hand lifting your balls, the taint is expanded. God, this is such a garbage doo-doo podcast. This is bad. But that is interesting. I'm kind of curious. I wonder if we were to ask our mothers, would they even remember the way they used to wipe our asses? And
because like, did they even remember that?
Wouldn't it be interesting? But that's my theory, and that's really that makes sense to me.
That's an interesting theory, and I do want to actually like investigate.
I want to explore that. We'll hit back with more information on that. Todd, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I actually haven't touched Monster Hunter in a little bit.
Oh, thank God.
I know. But I've been on another game. Mm-hmm. I've been playing the living shit out of Absolver.
Okay.
It's honestly the main thing I've been playing. Like, if I'm not like doing like some Strange Brigade stuff with you, it's been basically Absolver.
I just got my platinum for Strange Brigade yesterday.
I'm pretty close to that, actually.
I was happy.
I'll probably be getting that sometime this week, maybe.
I was happy to earn that. We had fun actually playing that yesterday.
No,
although it was hilarious. We were playing Horde mode, and like for a few minutes there, we were enemies for a few minutes there.
Oh yeah.
Because like I spent like all of my gold to open up one of the doors in Horde mode, and there was a chest in there, and Todd just runs and takes it.
Yes, I did.
And I'm like, hey, yo, what the fuck, dog?
And then you opened another door, and you took both chests.
Yeah, I took both chests because I'm like, fuck
And
you,
then-
you took that one.
And then I opened the door myself, and there was 2 chests as well, and I took them for myself.
But the hilarious thing for that was I didn't, like, Todd did not, normally we'll say, like, all right, I'm opening this door, because here, for a little bit of context, in Strange Brigade's Horde mode, that's the only way to get potions, is they're behind these doors that you have to pay money for. And normally we'll be like, all right, I'm opening a door, come grab yourself a potion. Usually there's chests with gems and stuff to upgrade your weapons in there. So when Todd ninja'd that first chest, I opened up the second one, and I told Todd about it, but by the time he got there, I'd already opened both of them, because fuck you, you stole my first one. Normally I share. You know what I mean? But but then, like, the one that Todd opened, he didn't even announce, and the only reason that I saw that the door was opening was that I saw him picking up, like, it pops up when he picks up blueprints for weapons. And I was just like, oh, we're on this level of bullshit, huh? Where you're, like, not even going to say that you're opening the door? We're doing this petty shit?
Apparently.
That's what we're doing now? I was like, it's like that, huh?
It was like the moment. It's like right after that we were like good. It was just like we just started playing normally.
It was just funny. There was just this cycle of pettiness for a couple of minutes there.
Yeah, it was good.
Sometimes I'm like, I just wish we were just, like, always recording when we play games sometimes.
No, because we always have some stupid shit. Like, at least if not like a full like episode of some like random ass game, like at least a clip.
What we honestly need to start doing, even though it's like a shittier situation, we really do need to start, like, just chatting in a PlayStation party.
I hate it.
I know, but, like, it would have been so easy to capture a clip of that with our audio, you know.
We technically could, because like even then, even at that point, I'm using my Blue Yeti. So
yeah, it's you know, you got to sacrifice your quality of life for the content. You know what I mean? You got to do it for the tent. Anyway, tell me more about Absolver. I think you touched on it a little bit.
I touched on it a little bit. I didn't put as much time into the new little free expansion of Downfall. I didn't put as much time into it like when we last recorded and I talked about it.
Yeah.
I definitely have put a little too much time now into it. I think Downfall is a very, very smart move for the game because it's for people that actually, like me, that like PvE more than the PvP. I've always been a PvE guy, and it gives me a level of like Chalice Dungeon shit from like Bloodborne, where I can kind of just do like a run of Downfall, kind of just like it is a little bit like randomly generated, and you're just basically fighting a bunch of just NPCs. It's great, but there is a problem I have with it. There is no reason to do that shit solo.
Right. I remember you saying something about that.
So I wasn't the only one to say this. Like I agree. I was noticing it like as I was doing it, and then like I was watching Peeve on Twitch. He was playing it, and he basically did a test, because it's like you look at it like this. When you're solo, you have 3 lives. That's it. You have 3 lives, then you get kicked out. Now, with co-op play, you basically have unlimited lives unless there's something really bad that happens. Like if all 3 of you die, it's like you're probably over with. But that's the thing, is you can keep on reviving each other the entire time and just keep going until the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's something like I said I did say there's like I said something like there should be a way to like get more lives as a solo player, because there's I actually I had this like this suggestion I made it to myself. I'm like, but it's never gonna happen. But like there's these healing blocks throughout the throughout Downfall that costs damage levels, and that's actually something that you build up while playing Downfall, is you get a damage multiplier by how many enemies you've killed and shit like that. I would straight lose all of that damage multiplier if it gave me an extra life.
Yeah.
Like I would absolutely love that, because at that point, like with the way it is now, there's technically no reason to do it solo other than the fact that like if you prefer to do it solo, but you're not, even the reward isn't as good. Like, you'll get more gleam doing it co-op, and that's a damn shame.
There's just legitimately, there's no reason to play it.
There's no reason. There's no fucking reason. There should be more of an incentive for solo play. There should be an incentive to do both. You know, like if I was doing solo play, maybe I should get a little more gleam. I don't fucking know, but like, because it's like, Peeve did a full run, like solo and co-op. He maybe got like a full run, maybe like 15,000 around that, and then the co-op run got 20,000, just about.
Okay.
It's like shit.
Well, I'm sorry, Todd. I'm not playing co-op in that game with you.
In time, you will.
It just slipped through the cracks. I don't have anything against the game. Like I honestly wouldn't mind trying it, but it's just, there's no time.
Also, every single part of my combat deck has a Bruce Lee move now.
Well, that's good. And thank goodness for that. Is that all you've been playing? Just Absolver?
Trying to think of anything else I've been playing. I mean, there's shit that I will be playing. I will be fucking around with Dead Cells pretty soon.
That's right. You got Dead Cells basically for the drive down, so that you can play some Switch in the car. Mm-hmm. That'll be a good. That's a good get. Dead Cells is kind of one of those just endlessly replayable. I've basically more or less put Dead Cells down, but I had a really good time with Dead Cells for a while there. It's a fun game. Really.
I'm looking forward to messing around with it. I mean, I've seen gameplay of it, like even when it first came out. I've always technically been interested in it, but I've just never cared enough to buy it.
I think you're really gonna like it. It's just such a bummer that Diablo is just barely missing that time frame.
That's honestly where I remember when this was coming up, I was like, when is Diablo coming out? And I'm just hoping that you'd tell me it was coming out right before I left.
Yeah, if Diablo was coming out just 2 or 3 weeks sooner, you would have been golden.
Yeah, that shit hurt my soul.
It sucks. Well, yeah, if you haven't been playing anything else, I have really only 2 games that I want to highlight. There's a couple of smaller things that I could highlight, but there's 2 big ones that I want to talk about. First one is Mega Man 11, okay, which came out at the beginning of the month. I have not put significant amount of time into it, but that's because, I'll be honest with you, I'm not crazy about it.
Oh, you're not liking it?
I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. In the way that when a new Mega Man game normally comes out, when Mega Man 9 and 10 came out, for example, those are the sort of retro, they actually made Mega Man 9 and 10 in the style of the old ones with pixel art and everything. And when those games came out, I just fucking consumed them. It was all I was playing for a good couple weeks when they came out. And there's just something about Mega Man 11 that I can't quite put my finger on that isn't quite hooking me. I don't know what it is, because the gameplay of it is great. The level designs are great. I really love the backgrounds, and I like some of the robot masters, but they're tiny little, tiny intangible things that really detract from making it a true Mega Man experience to me. There's almost, the older Mega Man games did a lot with a little, and I feel like this game, by virtue of its sort of modern trappings, sort of feels a little bit like they have too many tools in the modern day almost, and it kind of takes away from some of the mystique of it. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So it kind of bums me out, for example. So a classic Mega Man thing is you beat one of the robot masters, and now you have their powers, right? That's a classic Mega Man thing. In this game, in the older games, you would just sort of there would be a color palette change to Mega Man to denote that he was using, whatever power. In this game, Mega Man actually completely morphs and just looks like the Robot Master that he took the power from. Just the Robot Master's design is completely implanted onto Mega Man's design, and there's just something about that that's weird to me. I just have a real disconnect with seeing that, because I'm just it almost just, it takes away a little bit of the mystique, I guess. And then, also the music is a little not... There's some pieces of music that are really good. I really like the stage select music. But the actual in-level music is a little weak, in my opinion. It's also just... 3D art is just not as good as pixel art when it comes to 2D games. It's just not as good. And I think they've actually done a pretty good job with Mega Man 11, all things considered. I was really worried when they were going this full 3D route with Mega Man 11, but it's sort of like, it's still just not, compared to 9 and 10, it's just not as striking visually. The game's also got like full voice acting and like kind of a story, which I'm like hit or miss about, because Mega Man's always had a little bit of a story, but this one, there's more story in like the first cutscene of Mega Man 11 than there has been in any of the other games, you know? And it's a little weird. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I do. I mean, really, I like it a lot. It's still Mega Man. The gameplay is still tight. The double gear system is a little bit weird. That's kind of this game's gimmick. Basically, you've got two powers that you can sort of trigger at any time with these shoulder buttons. So you can either slow down time for a little bit, or you can do really powerful attacks for a little bit, basically. And a lot of the platforming is kind of based around this, and a lot of the combat is based around this. So, for example, there are enemies where they have a sort of like circular shield around them, and they're rolling around, and there's just one little spot in the shield where you can actually shoot them and damage them. And like, yeah, you don't have to slow down time to hit that spot, but really it's like you kind of have to, you know? There are little things like that where I'm just like, the double gear system, you know, Capcom's defense is like, oh, you never have to use it. I'm like, yeah, but you kind of do, you know? Yeah, you never technically have to use it, but you kind of do. I don't know. It's all of those things sort of like, they're just tiny little nitpicky complaints that add up a little bit for me with Mega Man 11, to where I'm like, I'm glad this exists and I'm enjoying it and I like it. I think some of the robot masters are really cool. Some of the designs are really cool. The boss fights, I thought, from top to bottom, were all really great. Again, there's just these tiny little complaints that just detract from the overall experience for me just a little bit, where I'm like, this could have been a 10 out of 10, and instead it's like an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? I don't know. But the game that I've been spending a lot of time with this week, a lot of time, buckle up, Todd, because I've been spending so much fucking time. Just been spending so much time with Everybody's Golf.
It's like, I already know this, because like every time I'm talking to you, you're playing it.
Just talking about my drive and talking about birdies and eagles, getting my pars. Yeah, no, it's Everybody's Golf. I'm like addicted to this game right now. It's like, it's the main thing I'm playing, weirdly. And I don't even know, you know, I guess let me walk you through my story with this. I think,
oh God,
I've always been aware of the game, and I've been a fan of the Hot Shots Golf series for a while. This is the latest entry in this series. Hot Shots Golf is like a first-party owned Sony series that's been around for forever, and overseas it's called Everybody's Golf, and it's always been Hot Shots Golf here in America for basically no reason. And so last year they released this one with the title Everybody's Golf. So now we share the title internationally, which is nice. But I sort of was just like depressed, I guess, and just like stressed out, and I was just looking for a pleasant game to just take me away from life's cruel realities. You know? I just needed a pleasant, warm, cheerful place to live in for a little while. And just a game with some good vibes, you know? And at first I was like, well, I'll just replay Undertale or whatever. Or I'll re-download Pokemon on my 3DS or something like that. I just want something with that sort of vibe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That sort of upbeat, everything's happy kind of vibe.
See, I don't like those lies. No, I'm just playing.
I just really like to live in like cozy, fun, upbeat games like that where everything's good. Everybody's Golf just sort of stuck out to me, and I hadn't played a golf game in a really long time, and it got me thinking about how much I legitimately enjoy golf games. Like the Mario Golf series has always been really fun.
It's funny, as I think that was probably the last golf game that I've played.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember, like, Toadstool Tour, like, the ones on N64 and GameCube, I remember I fucked those games up. Like I played those games so much, and yeah, it just occupies the golf games just occupy a weird space. Like there's certain arcadey sports games that I get really into every now and then. Like for example, I don't play basketball games, but I love NBA Jam and I love NBA Street. You know, like back in the day.
Those are the ones that are like cartoony and like do dumb shit.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, yeah, those are fun. I actually miss those.
Yeah, like NBA Street Volume 2 was like, oh my god, so good. You know, and I don't play football games, but I like Mutant League football. You know, they kind of had like a spiritual successor to Mutant League football on Xbox 360 called Blood Bowl. So like, it's kind of like, it's football, but it's with like orcs and shit. You know?
All right then.
It's interesting. But anyway, so you know, sports games every now and then I'll get one that just really gets its hooks in me, and that for right now, that's everybody's golf. I've just been playing the shit out of it, and I've just been really enjoying it. And I was telling you, it's sort of like a golf RPG. Like you level up and you have different clubs and different balls that you can use, and like you have a completely custom character. The character customization is actually pretty good.
You made a dude that looks like you.
He looks fairly like me. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's a pretty solid approximation. You know, you see a lot of people, especially when you go to play online, a lot of people make, you know, characters based on celebrities. I saw Hatsune Miku the other day playing online.
Did you say you could make your own caddy?
I think that's something that you can do at one point. I don't know if I've unlocked that ability yet, but I think
Bitch,
you can.
If you try to make me, I'll slap the shit out of you.
Yeah, I was debating on making a caddy that just looks like Todd. That'd be hilarious. I'll just make it like a chibi little version of you with like a short body.
God bless.
Short body and a big head. But there's just something about the vibe, like it, like the you kind of have this like hub area that gets more and more expansive, that you can like run around and get items and talk to NPCs and stuff, and all the NPCs are so friendly and they just want to offer you advice and stuff like that. And you know, the gameplay is really solid, like the actual golfing gameplay, because it's like it's as hardcore as you want it to be. You could get really into it, and you could do things like studying the patterns of the wind and the different power applications of your strokes and stuff like that. But you could also just like play some golf, you know, and like not really worry about that. I really like the way the online is set up in the game too, because it's sort of another seamless hub area where you can see all of these other players and you can compete in just like these little single stroke open hole golf games. Just real seamless. You know, it doesn't, you know, you go in and out of the game. There's no like loading screen or anything like that. It's very simple. I really enjoy what I've been playing. And the structure of the game is very like rudimentary. It's you know, very much just like play a bunch of golf, and then there's a special character that you can challenge, and then you play golf with them, and then you play more golf. You know, but it's, you know, I don't know how much longer I'll be playing it, but for now it's a really satisfying, a very specific thing that I've been looking for in video games. It's just a feel good, happy RPG where I also play some really fun golf.
It's because you wish to sit on a throne of lies.
I just want, you know, I just wanted something to take me away, just whisk me away from it. So it's definitely been doing that. Me and Golf Seth have been having a very good time. That's really all I've been playing. That's the major things I've been playing this week. Before we wrap it up, because we don't super have a topic this week, but I did want to go over, this is something that we've been kind of doing. You know, the show has no real structure, which has become more and more apparent as time has gone on.
Shit, I realized that shit really heavily with the music episode.
we just sort of, you know, we just sort of play Calvin ball with the show a lot, and we just wing it a lot. And, you know, I like that. I kind of like that vibe. It's just a conversational podcast.
Well, it's funny as Because like back when we were like starting out, like I think we tried to have a little too much structure with like the show notes and shit.
Yeah, and now we just
The
sort of
show notes have virtually died unless it's like something like we technically really need it, like if like it's like list based and whatnot.
right.
But like hashtag no show notes is like a
It's just a thing now.
yeah.
But I do like every now and then, I do like to touch on some of the news and get our takes on some of the news topics, and
yeah.
especially it's been a pretty news heavy week. Past couple weeks have been pretty news heavy, what with with what's been going on with Telltale and stuff. And I do have a few news items that I wanted to go through and sort of talk about before we wrap up the show this week. And the first one is related to Telltale because it seems like the final 2 episodes of the final season of The Walking Dead are going to be finished by another company, which is Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman's company, Skybound. Skybound said in a statement that they will work with members of the original Telltale team to finish the story in a way that the fans deserve.
Awesome.
What do you make of that?
I mean, like, if that's awesome, like legit, like if it ends up like working out,
I feel apprehensive about it, honestly.
Well, now I think you're in a very hurt state.
Well, a little bit. There's a little bit of that.
Because like shit, you even told me recently, you're like, I'm gonna wait until Life is Strange episode 2 is finished before I even play.
Yeah, Life is Strange season 2 just came out. It just started with its first episode, and I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna buy the whole season. Like, I'm just gonna wait until it's done, and then I'll play it. Because now I'm like untrusting of episodic games at this point.
Yeah.
But even beside from that, for me, the reason I'm apprehensive about it, for me, Todd, the devil lies in these fuzzy details. Because Skybound has not been totally forthright with like what's happening. So like I feel like Skybound has to kind of tread lightly here because I'm like, what are the details of this deal? Is Skybound getting all of the profits from this? Are ex-Telltale employees going to be getting any severance pay based on the sales of these final 2 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
Is Telltale itself pocketing any of this? Like,
they better not.
What is the partnership? Like, how does this all break down? Because I think they've got to be careful with the way they handle this because there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to buy this and support it if it means that ex-employees are still not getting their severance pay.
Yeah, if they come out and say that like the ex-Telltale employees are going to be like getting a good chunk of the money from this, I'd support it.
I mean, I like the idea that Skybound, how poetic, right? That Robert Kirkman's company is going to kind of pick up the corpse of the Walking Dead game and finish it out, right? I like that idea, but I wish that they would just say like, this is such a like fragile situation that I wish they would just be forthright and just say like, this is the exact details of the deal. This is what's going to happen. This is how many members of the original team are coming back. This, that, and the other. So I don't know. I think this is potentially very good news. I also wonder how far along they are in the path because, the final season of The Walking Dead was originally supposed to wrap up in December. And from what we understand, like episode 3 was like already in the kind of alpha stage and just needed like cleaning up. And like episode 4 was already underway and was on track to finish up by the end of the year. So, obviously this is all going to put a wrench in that and it's going to be delayed. But I do wonder... I do wonder how quickly this is all going to move along and how much work really needs to be done. So, again, just the details are what I want to know about this whole deal.
Yeah.
The next piece of news that I wanted to talk about, because this has happened, and this is a crazy thing. Alleged footage of a new Harry Potter game has been leaked. A Reddit user claimed to be approached to watch the trailer in a mall, of all things, and take a survey based on his reaction. Although cameras and phones were supposedly not allowed in this, the user claims that the security there were lax in checking his phone. So he, I guess, got some recorded footage. And the game could possibly be in development at Avalanche Software. What do you make of this? Did you watch the actual footage of this, or did you just see the GIFs?
I saw GIFs. I didn't. I think by the time I was trying to find it, I didn't find any videos.
Yeah, it should be noted that WB did pull all the videos down, citing copyright issues.
Of course.
Which could be confirmation that it's real, but it could also be because it just blatantly uses Harry Potter music and imagery. So, I mean, the fact that don't read into the fact that WB has pulled it down citing copyright claims, because that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a real thing. They could just say like, hey, like this is clearly infringing on our copyrighted IP.
I hope it's real.
I hope it's real too. Doesn't it look fucking phenomenal?
Yeah, I was just sitting there like, I'm not gonna lie, my dick was getting a little hard. I was like, oof.
Just like the idea of like an open world Harry Potter RPG is so, the Harry Potter IP, and it's no secret, I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, but like it's been so underserved in the gaming space
Some real
that
shit.
I'm just like even shitty Harry Potter games don't come out. You know what I mean? With the exception of like Lego Harry Potter, we haven't had a Harry Potter game probably since like the Wii.
Was that oh yeah, there was a Harry Potter game on the Wii.
I think they made like a Deathly Hallows game or something like that. Let me actually look. Literally the last Harry Potter game that came out. I'm looking at this. So, with the exception of Hogwarts Mystery, which came out, on mobile devices this year, the last Harry Potter game that released was a PlayStation Move game called Book of Potions. I don't even know what the hell that is. And then, yeah, there was Deathly Hallows on a, PS3, 360, and Wii. Wow. But yeah, other than that, nothing. Just totally dormant, series. And then they, again, WB opened up this sort of publishing arm called Portkey that has been working on these games. And, the reason that it's rumored that Avalanche is developing the game is because about a year ago, Avalanche put out a post hiring for writers with a, quote, deep understanding of British culture to work on an RPG with, quote, branching storytelling. And again, this was just last year. So Avalanche could very well be working on a Harry Potter RPG.
Shit's incredible.
I'm tantalized. And if the footage is anything to go off of, some of just the effects of like some of the spells that were being cast, and again the idea of creating a custom witch or wizard and just exploring these environments, like I don't give a fuck about the story. I just want to live in that game.
That's it's funny. It's like I'm kind of in the same headspace. I'm just like, I don't give a shit. The story could be ass. I just want to walk around Hogwarts.
Yeah, I don't care about the time period it's set in. I just want to explore Hogwarts. Now, the footage showed that there was footage that took place inside of Hogwarts. There was footage inside of the Forbidden Forest. There was footage inside of Hogsmeade. So, this seems like it's going to be pretty expansive if it's real. And I don't know. It has me thinking about the Harry Potter brand in general, because obviously the only major thing that has been happening with Harry Potter as a brand is the Fantastic Beasts series of movies. And it has me thinking that Warner Brothers has a pretty strong level of confidence in the Harry Potter brand as of late, just because, because why would they... In other words, why would they be putting more focus on Harry Potter in the gaming space? Again, this sort of underserved IP, if they didn't think that Harry Potter was about to be, coming back into the sort of public eye in a big bad way, So I just sort of, I'm very, very excited for more Harry Potter things, and I hope to God this is real. I want this to be the Arkhamization of Harry Potter. You know what I mean? I'll never forget when Batman Arkham Asylum came out, just that perfect representation of that IP, of the Batman IP in video game form. It was just perfect fantasy wish fulfillment. And I want that with Harry Potter. I just want the perfect Harry Potter video game. And if that footage is anything to go off of, I think it could be something very, very special if that's real. And I really hope it is. And I hope that if it is real and if that is based on real footage, I hope that, and it could even be that Warner Brothers leaked this out intentionally, which happens, to sort of gauge audience reactions. Yeah. So there are several different things that this could imply, but whatever it is, I'm very excited. Last piece of news here. Something that I've actually talked about quite a bit, especially lately. This is a CNET article that I have here. Sean Keane at CNET writes, Sony patent hints at PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility. A Sony patent suggests that the company is looking to make the PlayStation 5 backwards compatible. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office published a patent remastering by emulation just a few days ago, at the time of this recording, on October 2nd.
Okay.
Sony filed the patent, which was previously published in May and November 2016, suggesting that this idea has been around for at least 2 years. It's a 14-page document, and it outlines a process by which textures from old games are remastered on the fly for higher resolution displays. This could mean games from previous console generations will look slightly improved on HD and 4K displays when played on PS5. There's nothing that links the patent directly to the yet-to-be-confirmed PS5, but it seems like this is probably what this is, which makes sense because that's something that I've long said about the PS5 is this thing better be backwards compatible,
Yeah, because backwards compatibility is such like an important thing now. People love playing the old games on their shit.
Well, quite frankly, Todd. And maybe I said this when we were sort of talking about Sony and Spider-Man and stuff like this, but like I'm still pretty happy with my PS4. You know what I mean?
Same. I mean, I am too.
I feel like I could play my PS4 for 5 more years and be happy with it. And if Sony is going to come out in 2020, which I firmly believe that I think that's going to be the year that we see PS5 and Xbox 2 or whatever the hell. If Sony's coming...
If they call it Xbox 2, I swear
they won't, but, whatever the next Xbox is, those consoles are going to be out no later than 2020. And I really do think that, like, they have to have a solution in place for backwards compatibility when they come out, because I'm not ready to give up my PS4. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still totally happy with it. And in 2 years... You're telling me that all of my games on it are completely obsolete?
That's some real shit.
That's not... I'm not about that. So I really hope that I really hope that Sony has a solution for this. And I don't want the buck to stop at PS4. I want it to also support PS3 and PS2 and PS1 games. And I'm not saying that they need to, make it to where I put in my PS3 disc and it just works or whatever. I don't need that. Have all of your PS3 games that are on your digital storefront. I should be able to play them on my PS5. You know what I mean? Like, that just makes no sense. And a lot of that has to deal with, if you talk to people who know the sort of technology behind it, a lot of it has to deal with the cell processor that was present in the PS3. And I'm just like, that technology has got to be so cheap now. Like, just put that shit in the PS5 at this point. You telling me the PS5 can't have a solution to play PS3 games? Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. Especially considering the fact that, like, PS2 games are already playable on PS4. PS1 games are playable on Vita and PS3. And it's just such a fucking mess. Sony with backwards compatibility is a total mess. And with PS5, they've got to fix it. And this patent that was just filed really gives me hope that they're making this a top priority with PS5. And I want nothing more than to see them. I want to see Sean Layden get up on the stage and just be like, yo, PS5 is coming out, and you're going to be able to play any PlayStation game on it.
It's every PlayStation game that's ever been made.
All of them.
You can play it here on the PlayStation 5.
All of them. Just let me do it all. That's what you can do on Xbox. And you better believe whenever Xbox fucking 2 comes around, you're going to be able to do the same thing. Because Microsoft was forward thinking in that, and that is a major thing that, like, is attractive about an Xbox One.
Well, again, we've talked about that. Like, they had to be forward thinking.
Yeah, they were forced to be, just in terms of, like, keeping up with the competition. But the fact remains that, like, you can't you can't let your competition get the leg up. Because if, Microsoft's coming in swinging in this next generation, no doubt about it.
No, definitely.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I got this week. Was there anything you wanted to toss in before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's about it, man.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week with our first of 2 evergreen episodes. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.